provided the details of those payments to a second amended version of that form that he signed on Friday. And joining me now is House Intelligence Committee member Illinois Congressman Mike Quigley. And Congressman Quigley, let's start with that amended filing. Why is it that Michael Flynn, who is now out of government, had to file an amended disclosure form about his finances?
Well, regardless, it still goes to the original filing. He has to be truthful in that. I don't know the particular rules and ethics requirements, but just because you leave government doesn't mean the requirements still weren't there in the first place and don't stand with you as time goes on. We now understand a little bit more about why the general was seeking immunity.
And let's go into just a little bit more about what was known about Michael Flynn at the time that he was hired to be Donald Trump's national security advisor. We know that there were concerns about him that were raised by the acting attorney general at the time, Sally Yates, who we were hoping was going to testify before the committee that you're a member of. The Guardian is reporting some new information that in addition to the payments he received from RT, payments for speeches in Moscow, doing some work for the government of Turkey, there were also some contact potentially with a person who is affiliated, I guess, with the Russian GRU. One of the concerns involved an encounter with a Russian-British graduate student named Svetlana Lakova, whom Flynn met on a trip to Cambridge in February 2014. He invited her to accompany him on his next official trip to Moscow with help to help with simultaneous translation. And the Guardian is saying that Flynn and Lakova remained in email contact conducted through an unclassified channel. And in one of those emails, he refers to himself as General Misha, etc. Have you heard anything about those potential contacts with somebody? She's a dual Russian national who may also be linked to Russian intelligence.
Let me tell you, what I was first concerned about was the fact that General Flynn had been fired by a previous administration for just these kind of problems. Some of the nuance that you're going into is work that the committee is investigating right now, the documents we're looking at, and as we go forward, people that we interview. So it's difficult for me to remember which field comes from what was open source and closed source, but I'll just tell you that unfortunately General Flynn is fertile ground for investigating Russian influence into the democratic process. We're going to take our time. We're not going to prejudge. But I assure you, when I was asked, who do you want to testify first, who would help you understand most if they testified fully and completely, and General Flynn was my first guest.
And on the question of his testimony, the ranking member of your committee, Congressman Adam Schiff, earlier on CNN expressed skepticism that he would allow Flynn to do so with immunity from the House Intelligence Committee. Let's let you listen to that.
The skepticism is, we'll need to consult with the Justice Department. They obviously have a lot of equities here. We don't want to do anything that will interfere in any case that the Justice Department may decide to bring. We also have to determine whether he really can add value to our investigation, whether we need him to learn information we can't learn from other sources.
And, sir, the Senate Intelligence Committee has already indicated that they are not open to the idea at this time of giving Michael Flynn immunity to testify. To your knowledge, is the House more open to that idea?
Oh, I don't think so. I think Ranking Member Schiff raised an important point there. We would need what we call proffer. What is it exactly he anticipates to testify to? We would have to work with our Senate colleagues. We would have to work with the Justice Department to make sure that we're not stepping on their investigation, because that investigation, again, wouldn't necessarily involve just General Flynn, but everything in this investigation is tied to everything else. It's extraordinarily complicated, intertwined, so there's no rush to do this. I anticipate at some point in time General Flynn will be before us. I think at this time he probably recognizes it makes sense for him to come forward. We'll have to see.
And lastly, sir, do you have confidence in the chairman of your committee, Chairman Nunes?
I'll say this. Chairman Nunes ran an extraordinarily fair process through the first part of this term. The first 2 years under this chairman, I think he did a great job. It's been difficult, I think, obviously, under this president. I think he has conflicts internally. He can't serve two masters. We have to recognize, though, he's not stepping down. And the only other person that can make him step down is the Speaker of the House. He has said he won't do that. So we have to work together at this point. Chairman Nunes has to realize he can't serve two masters. He has to do this investigation impartially to maintain its credibility.
Right.
So we have to trust each other. We have to move forward. But we can't have any more midnight excursions. We can't have any more distractions.
Yep.
We can't cancel any more public hearings on this matter. So much of it is in the chairman's hands.
Yep, we will see if he follows your advice. Congressman Mike Quigley, thank you very much.